Hi everyone, welcome to SAP Tech Talks webinar. Before we start, I'd like to say a couple of words about the event. The webinar will be recorded and then posted on our YouTube channel. You can ask all the questions in the Q&A field. Our speakers today are Katsiaryna Ustsinava, Igor Kochuev, and Daniil Labych. And the topic they're going to present is Mastering Clean Core, Key Strategies for SAP Success. Colleagues, we are all ears.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you on our session regarding Mastering Clean Core. And thanks a lot for joining. I understand that we are not the first who present for you this topic. And you could hear about Clean Core from all resources, from SAP, different TikToks, from SAP courses, from different implementation teams, and so on. So from our side, me together with my colleagues Igor Kochuev and Daniil Labych, we will present you not only like technical and functional explanation, what is Clean Core, how to work with it, and so on. But we want to share with you our personal experience, how we implemented and continue implementing SAP projects following Clean Core concept. Last 3 years, I spent on greenfield implementation of S4HANA, cloud, and on-premise systems, where we, together with RISE with SAP, support implementing and following Clean Core concept during implementation. So, before we start, I want to share with you some interesting thoughts about what is Clean Core when I discuss it with different people from different areas. And unfortunately, not everyone right now knows that what is Clean Core and how work with it. So sometimes I hear from developers that Clean Core is just clean code. Consultants continue thinking that clean core is important and interesting only for SAP developers because they are responsible for implementation of clean core. Managers avoid clean core because they're afraid of losing some new features that customer want to implement. Client unfortunately thinks sometimes that it is only new SAP marketing and nothing more. But no, believe me, it's not marketing. This is a powerful approach that help us a lot. And security, thinks that clean means no violations and nothing more. So I want to share with you what is Clean Core and how to cover it. So first of all, why it is so important for SAP and for client and for implementation team is because by the end, following Clean Core approach, you will achieve possibility to do easily upgrade and refreshing system, installing different feature packs, and so on. With Clean Core, it will be easy to scale your system, to scale your solution to different rollout implementation, and help to achieve good performance by the end of implementation. But unfortunately, very often the most important and difficult is to change and to implement correct processes. For that, SAP suggests and activate SAP best practices where you activated these practices in your sandbox or development environment. US implementation team, you could share with the client how SAP processes should work, because SAP Clean Core and SAP implementation is not about implementing company processes in SAP. It is about implementing SAP processes in the company and then extended it based on customer needs. And of course, the next two important things here is extensibility integration. And for that, SAP provide different books, different courses, how to extend SAP with following Clean Core and so on, how to work with integrations, provide different tools for that. And that's why the biggest mistake here is very often we think that only extensibility and integration team who develop your implementation is responsible for clean core. Of course, clean core can't be achieved without data quality and data privacy. And this is also common issues in the project that from the beginning of the project, we forget about data quality and about operations and security. In data, it is very important to start thinking about it from the discovery phase, and in design phase, understand what is master data, where it should be located, how to integrate everything to avoid issues in the end, and additional extensibility, integrations, and duplicating of data. So as you see from this picture, all teams, all members of implementation team, all client, and even company process owners are responsible for clean core approach and for clean core concept. So who is responsible? Delivery manager, project manager, they should be familiar with SAP Activate methodology. It will be great if you activate SAP Cloud ALM in your company, and now it is free, and you could easily use a lot of solutions inside where SAP provide information how to achieve clean core, provide different quality checks for that. Of course, business process owner to change their mindset and to start thinking regarding SAP implementation, like scalable, powerful solutions that will be easily to improve in future, to work in future, to upgrade in future, and for that we need clean core concept. Solution architect, technical architect, without any doubts is responsible for the whole solution. Functional consultants, SAP developers responsible for the whole implementation phase, and of course testing and quality assurance team. So usually we have different phases of our projects, and here I want to highlight that from my experience, the most important phase for achieving clean core concept is design. Yes, during discovery phase, our business architect and our functional consultants should try to achieve as much as possible changing this mindset of our clients to think about clean core as must have. But during design phase, unfortunately, very often we ignore and just prepare a very high level strategy and decision trees, key design decisions on the project, and then it is very difficult to follow some approach to achieve clean core. So during design phase, we should implement all and establish all strategies: data migration strategy, testing strategy, extensibility strategy, integration strategy, release management strategy, security strategy, and so on. And inside this strategy, this is really powerful documents that will help you during development phase, during run phase, and during all support for future. What is the goal of your implementation? How you are going to scale your system, and so on. So here you should have very strict decision trees for all solutions, what to select, BTP or ABAP layer, what to select during security, what to select for integration, will it be API or maybe IDOC, and so on. So please pay your attention on design phase as much as possible and help client to achieve clean core and to prepare this clean core base before development phase. Now, a lot of customers go on green implementation or brown implementation with RISE with SAP contract. And for that case, not only implementation team and company is responsible for and interested in clean core, but also SAP is interested in achieving as much as possible clean core concept and principles, because in that case, SAP is responsible for supporting you during upgrade, releases, during backend backups, and so on. And here, this is the main reason why SAP shares so many information about Clean Core and try to explain it for all customers, and maybe sometimes customers think that it is marketing only. For that, SAP prepare now it is recommendations from SAP, but if compare it with 2 years ago, SAP suggestions. 2 years ago, it was just high-level recommendations on SAP Activate and nothing more. Now, we could find a strict guideline how to achieve Clean Core. We could find a lot of courses how to achieve Clean Core. And by end of each phase in SAP Activate and in Cloud ALM, you could find specifically activity lists to answer the questions where you with your Clean Core approach. So in Cloud ALM and in SAP Activate, you could find quality gates for different projects types like green field implementation, brown field implementation, conversion, some like small project changes, how with questions to answer to SAP where you do you have SAP certificate, cloud certificate developers? Do you have migration strategy? Did you activate Cloud ALM? Did you activate BTP ABAP cloud environment or implement solutions only in S4HANA layer? Did you activate work zone and so on? So with this activity list, with this questionnaire, you could see from your side and you share it for SAP after each phase to understand where you are. And apart from that, SAP could do audit and different sessions, workshops for you with explanation of your errors and with discussion, could it be improved or not? So by end of discovery, prepare, explore, realize, and deploy phase, you should provide to SAP this activity list with answers. And it will help you as implementation team, company, and SAP to understand is you go in a correct approach during for your implementation or not. So by end of this slide, I want to give my mic to the next our presenter, Igor, who will explain you some more details. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kate. So let me continue with the further discussion. And being the member of ABAP developer team and looking to all these processes from the inside with previous last 2 years on different Clean Core projects, I want to review the participation, the meaning of all the teams, not only the development basis functional teams, but other like GRC, like data migration teams. And starting the development, starting the implementation, we realize what exactly we should do. But there is a earlier part which we should consider and a job to do, which relates to processes and operations. Yes, so let me continue with my slides. Yes, we have processes. The processes are the backbone of the any business system, and with any business system, we should clearly understand what happens, what we are doing, what are the business flows, the processes. Are those processes customized? Are those processes standard? And of course, with the Clean Core, we should at maximum lean to standard processes and to consider the enhancement of processes as an option Yes, not like the standard workflow, and try to minimize it. And of course, we should understand that processes should, first of all, increase the flexibility and agility of any business. And it is not an option just to establish some standard processes and try to apply them as it recommends SAP, as it recommends some specific business, some specific topic. Yeah, of course, we have different processes, and we first of all have to review those processes. We have to understand on the preparation phase what existing processes do we have with our self business, what processes we should have, what are our stakeholder needs, what we can consider as obligatory part of our business, of our flows, what can be reduced, what can be changed, what are our prioritizations here. Next, of course, we should document all those processes, all those flows. We should understand what are our practices, what people are identified, what is our story here, and all those things should be clearly documented, because the documentation nowadays is a part of clean core, and we should seriously consider this point. Next thing is, of course, standardization. As I said, we have an option here to use standard processes, to use some customization, and here we should follow to the standardization as much as possible, but it is again a question of the trade-offs, and we should think from our side, what can we do here? And the last point, after we understand all our processes, and even if we have established everything on our current project and everything works fine and smoothly now, we should continue our monitoring of existing processes, monitoring of changing processes, monitoring of changing some government obligations, and so on. So here, after standardization, we don't stop our processes work job over this topic. Yeah. And next, go to the operations. What are the operations? Yeah, operations is a thing which answers what should we do when the processes say what should we do. So when we dive into operation, we are talking about the processes, like blocks, like the steps. What should we do? How should we organize the baseline, the work of our teams to make those processes in a correct way, in a way we plan to continue the permanent improvement of those processes. And here we, first of all, of course, should think about system stability. How should we upgrade? What are our options here? Will it be, for example, RISE with SAP? Will it be our cloud support? Will it be some even hyperscaler support? It's also an option. We shouldn't consider here only like SAP-based tools and options. And next, of course, we should automate it as much as possible. Nowadays, our area of responsibility increases widely. We will see it later. And we have to work on automatization more and more year by year. Of course, business continuity is the main thing that we should support. It is not possible, and it is very expensive for our business to lose even 1 minute of the work, of the delay in any processes, even of stopping of any processes. Yes, and of course, security and compliance nowadays is a very important thing. We should think about it widely and deeply, and to understand that our scope of operations and flows nowadays, and any time, of course, goes out of our landscape of our systems, and we should consider this security things precisely and attract different security specialists in different areas. Okay, now let's dive into some cases. Yeah, we have some deprecated and nowadays recommended tools. We can consider it as a kind of replacement matrix. And what can we see here? For example, we can see that earlier we used SAP GUI. Nowadays we have to transfer our point of view, our development tool set into Eclipse, above development tools, into Fiori, into RAP, and looking into each row here, we can think, and who is responsible for each line, of this replacement. We can think that replacement of moving to Eclipse is a responsibility of development team, replacement of some deprecated interface like iDocs into SAP is responsibility of integration team. Looks good, replacing of ILB reports with Fiori looks like a responsibility of functional team, but is it so? Is it the truth? Really, we should see that each thing, each point, each aspect is not the responsibility of one person or one team, because everything here in this list affects all the teams. Eclipse, even Eclipse, which basically is considered like a developer team responsibility, can be used by functional specialists to analyze objects, to analyze logs. It can be used by basis specialists, by quality acceptance, quality assurance teams to provide different quality tests, to provide the quality acceptance of the system. The same relates to everything. Interfaces, of course, it should be considered by integration, by developer team, but even by functional team, it can be considered like an option. What can we do here? What should we improve, and what should we do? So what I want to say here, that considering each aspect, considering systems, platforms, and opportunities, all those things are responsibility of all the teams. It is not something which relates to a specific area. Nowadays, we should look into all this scope widely. We should understand how can we help him, how can we help our system to be improved, how can we help each other, like a team to team, like a teammate to teammate, and to think about it like a project scope, not like a scope of some specific team. Okay, and now let's consider a bit precisely different scopes. For example, we start from development scope, which is clear to me when we are talking about the development. What are we normally thinking about? Development is about writing some code, we have a developer team, they are writing some custom codes, custom programs, or enhance something, and that was clear before Clean Core introduces our life. We had, for example, some standard solution like SAP GUI. After that, it was a bit enhanced, and we worked only in this scope. But nowadays, we should consider it a bit wider. Like we have different things. For example, custom code. What do objects we have? What is it about? What is the name of this object? Do we understand what is it related to or not? What is the object of this type? Is it API? Is it business object? Is it some integration interface? Is it standard or not standard? All those questions will help us understand the context of our task, the context of our development, and will provide us additional thoughts about how can we improve our view, our personal view into our system, into our development objects, not like just the simple piece where a piece of place where we just write the code. Yeah, let's go next. What is the impact scope of our object? Of course, this scope cannot be rounded by just the current system. It can affect different interfaces. Interfaces can affect different processes, different scopes, everything. We should think if we change something, if we lean to standard, or if we lean to some customization, what will it affect? Will it help us, or it will lead us back from our target, from some kind of improvement? Yeah. What is our frequency of usage of this object? Normally, we think that we have developed something, for example, integration interface, and we see in statistics that it works and everything is fine here. We should think if we can use it like widely every day, day by day. Should we use it more and more, or should we stop to prevent the spending of some extra money for our business? Yeah, and with the environment, of course, we should understand where do this custom code is established and supported. Okay, let's go next. As I said, normally we worked with GUI, with SAP, but nowadays we have the enhancement of this scope with different systems, with cloud systems, with BTP, with different cloud platforms, with different hyperscalers. We should understand that we have a lots of opportunities now. This is Fire applications. This is some analytic metrics, integration tools, Internet of Things, automation of any processes, automated intellect, machine learning, lots of them. So our scope nowadays become very wide, and we should consider it widely. We should think about all those things when we start our development. We are not in the circle of this S4HANA, and we are not under the classic extensibility with classic extensibility of existing objects on the S4HANA base nowadays. Of course, we should think about the released APIs. We should think about a model extensibility. What is a tier 3? It is like normally our classical development point that it should be retired, that we should move to tier 1 and tier 2 extensibility stack with S4HANA, with the BTP platforms. We should consider our objects. You can see it on the left side. Are they available like to be consumed with different stacks, with different APIs, with different reasons? Yeah, and when we go to functional scope, into our functional team, of course, we should consider, first of all, standards first approach, because SAP nowadays provides a lot of different opportunities. It provides Fiori, and even if you are able, for example, to develop something specific for your business, for example, report, it can be not much be suited for this reason, because it doesn't have some specific standard built-in features, like, for example, filtering, AI tools, and so on and so on. So please think about it. We should we should, of course, think about different types of extensions, side by side of extensions, not only body, not only standard enhancements with our S4HANA, with our ECC. We should think wider about it. Of course, we should continue with integrations, with processes. What are our options? What can we do for our business from functional side? What is the architecture of our integration of API-based processes? All those things can change our mind. They can change the view to our system development and to providing the scope to the business. With basis scope, again, we see that we are not inside the SAP-centric solutions. We are over the BTP, we are over the hyperscalers, different integrations, and we should see into this widely and precisely understand what can we change on the basis level to improve our team, to recommend some obsolete services, some new services, following some standards, different types of extensibility, and so on and so on. And the last one, of course, it is the integration scope, the heart of all the flows of all the processes with all the systems. Here we have the perfect thing like integration solution advisory methodology, also known as ISAM, which shows us how should we establish our integration, how should we describe our processes, how should we describe our operations, our integrations, how we should provide the documentations for it. Consider this thing for your integrations. Yeah, again, we should realize that we have different types of extensibility. We have different cloud-based innovations. We have multi-cloud environments, and anything can be included into integration scope. Again, not only SAP centric. So shortly, this is all about Clean Core in context of our teams. And what can we say here? That Clean Core will affect everyone. Clean Core will touch the entire teams. And please think about Clean Core like a process, a continuous process, not a result. Even when your S4HANA core will become clean, that does not mean that clean core process on your project is finished. No, it will be a continuous thing, because all the time, all the days, we will have the improvement of our systems. SAP will provide new products, and we should realize how should we build all those scopes, all those tools, products, and platforms into our scope, into our team tools, and how can we use it to improve our self jobs at first. Yeah, and what can we realize here? Yeah, that first of all, nowadays we should be prepared to clean core, because any project can start tomorrow, for example. Yeah, and we should understand that we should have modern tool set, modern skill set. We should think about not only SAP products, but also about different options, about different middleware programs to constantly consultant to understand what are our opportunities here. Of course, certification is an option here. So shortly, that's all about our teams. And now I want to ask Daniil to proceed with the GRC.
Thank you very much, Igor. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniil Labych. I have more than 18 years experience of working with different SAP products. And during this time, my main SAP specialization was GRC and security. As you just heard from Kate and Igor, Clean Core, it's not about something very specific. It is about everything what is required for your successful SMP implementation project. And today we decided to make some higher focus on such an underrated area as SAP governance, risk compliance, shortly GRC, and security. Of course, we don't have time to cover everything, so we would like to give you some high-level overview, and then we will go down to some bottom stages, because we also prepared some practical advices for you. So let's start. When SAP says about GRC and security, they usually mention four key areas. The first one is enterprise risk and compliance. This is everything about process controls, audit management, risk management for all types of risks, like financial risks or operational or reputational technology risks, and so on. Then access governance. It will be the main topic of our discussion, so we'll see details on later slides. Then cybersecurity and data protection, where we deal with all types of security for our systems, applications, technologies, files, and so on. And something which may sound not very familiar to some of you, but SAP also includes it into GRC universe. This is international trade management, and it is about various global trade services or international trade laws, regulations, and procedures. A few words about cybersecurity. Please remember that for all business applications, you need to ensure data security, configuration security, audit log security, maintenance of SAP code security, threat detection, custom code security, and after all, users and authorizations as a part of a data protection. On the right side of the slide, you can see some key SAP solutions. Let me mention just some most known of them, like, for example, SAP Enterprise Threat Detection or UI Login, UI Masking, or SAP Privacy Governance. But note that even if you don't have any tool by hand, you still need to ensure all the same cybersecurity aspects. There are a lot of requirements from SAP side. Let's move on with access governance. This is everything about user access to your system, starting from the very beginning, from employee hiring to the company. What systems your users will need access to, how to provide that access, who should approve, how users are going to access the applications, what prerequisites are for that, what other checks you need to perform, how to ensure that you provided correct access and didn't provide excessive authorizations, and after all, how to be sure that your users will not make any fraud in the system. There are a lot of methodological questions and also technology decisions which should be tied out with each other. You also can see some key SAP solutions here, like SAP Access Control, also known as GRC Access Control, or well-known Single Sign-On or Identity Management. But please note that recently SAP delivered some cloud-based solutions, like SAP Cloud Identity Access Governance or Cloud Platform Identity Provisioning Service. We can say these are successors of previously used tools. Now let's go a bit down and talk about access control security. When we say about it, we usually name four main streams: security roles and authorizations management. Please pay attention that here we separated a role model and maintenance rules from authorization and maintenance rules. There are different processes and different tools, but of course they should be aligned. Then we have user provisioning, where we start with building some strong user ID conception and proceed with implementing various access request management processes. Then the most complicated, but I would say also most interesting part, access risks and segregation of duties management. Here we deal with so-called segregation of duties rule set or metrics and proceed with access risk analysis procedures. And of course, we should not forget about mitigation control. Last but not least, emergency access management. We all know that from time to time, we need to provide some powerful access to our systems due to some urgent needs. And of course, we should remember not only about emergency access usage rules, but even more important, about emergency access controlling procedures. Now let's go down again, and we would like to talk about some very essential part of any SAP project and about something what should be considered and defined from the very beginning of your project. We are often asked how to build roles for our users. And of course, there cannot be just one correct answer, because you may have very different prerequisites or requirements or some conditions or some project or company or customer specifics. But you need to think about some things definitely. What will be your functional approach? Are you going to design your roles based on HR job positions, or maybe better to do it based on business processes? Then how to implement your roles from technical point of view? Will you do multiple function-based roles, or do you prefer to follow so-called less privilege approach? Or maybe you want to use some hybrid approach or even something separate? What will be your tool set? If you have any SAP solution, you should definitely understand how your further support and overall role maintenance will look like. And it should help you to make some decisions. But even if you don't have any solutions, you still should to cover all the same things, but maybe differently. Then something which is often forgotten. This is UI approach. Will you create your Fiori space and pages based on business processes? Or maybe you want to make some relationship between roles and your Fiori spaces. After all these questions can be answered somehow, maybe by different people, but the key point here that all these approaches should be consolidated. So please think about them all together and from the very beginning of your project. And with this, you will be able to build some strong role model and roles and authorizations processes. Let me say a few more words about this functional approach for business role design, because it's, again, one of the very first questions. As I already mentioned, we have an option to design our roles based on HR job positions. And of course, here you have some very obvious prerequisite that all functions or responsibilities of every job position should be clearly designed and documented. But you will get some good benefits with this approach because you will have transparency between your organizational change management and your roles and authorizations change management. And almost in all cases, your users will have just one high-level role assigned. But this approach is not always applicable. Just for example, your HR job position may be named as just an accountant, but within the accounting department, people may have different responsibilities. Someone is working with accounts payable, someone is working with accounts receivable, asset accounting, and so on. So another good option here is to design your roles based on business processes. In this case, your role will provide a set of authorizations required to perform some specific business steps for exact business processes. And of course, very similar prerequisite that your business processes and business end-to-end scenarios should be designed and documented beforehand. But with this approach, you will have much more flexibility in design itself and in further maintenance. Though you should understand that your users will have more than just one role assigned. Now, we would like to give you some practical recommendations, more like reminders or heads up, because also we prepared some true stories, some real negative use cases, which we heard from our customers and partners when someone just didn't follow some recommendations, just because we want to show you again that some very, very little detail or very little mistake can have a very big negative impact. So if you are working with roles and authorizations, please use role derivation, implement role ownership conception. Do not change authorization defaults directly in roles. By the way, in some recent S4HANA versions, SAP delivered a very good feature, which is authorization default variants. You can get some benefits of that. Let me say out loud about one exact use case. This is about centralized organizational structure within your role maintenance. And it was not a story about some big mess with roles. It was just a little mistake that someone just updated organizational level value directly in an authorization object. Then a role was copied, and it ended with a case when France user was able to make some posting for Spain. Believe me, that was a big, big scandal. Also, please remember that you need to design roles not only for business users, but also for system users, for IT users, or for firefighter users. And another example here, one system user just didn't have authorizations for a newly created RFC connection. And because of that, payroll calculation job failed. You can imagine how much noise people produced there. Another painful topic, custom application. When you are developing your custom applications during SAP projects, please implement valid authority checks. Don't forget about authorization defaults. Choose whether to use standard authorization objects or create custom ones. Maybe you need to include your application into SOD consideration. And let me say a bit more words about CDS views, which are used nowadays more and more. Unlike classical authority check statement, for CDS views, you need to use so-called declarative control language authorizations and special access control statement. And again, this is the must for every CDS views. Don't avoid it. But what I would like to ask you to avoid is this wrong thinking. Even if you are using some standard piece of code, it doesn't mean you don't need to think about authorizations. You must. Some mistakes are happening about Fiori Launchpad management. Please do not add technical catalogs to your roles. Rather, add business catalogs which contain references to tiles and target mappings originals. Also, please remember that technical catalogs should be maintained only on cross-client level, while business catalogs are maintained at client-dependent level. Again, if you are using some custom Fiori applications, please do not reuse target mappings. Please create some custom actions for your target mappings, and also remember about authorization defaults. Please pay attention. For GUI transactions, we were able to assign authorization defaults directly to transactions, but it's working separately when we are saying about Fiori applications. And here we need to assign authorization defaults for related or data services. Of course, we need to remember also about our UI structure, and in so-called modern Fiori Launchpad, SAP gives us possibility to use some three-tiered structure of our UI for Fiori Launchpad and use special spaces, pages, and sections. So please choose some correct approach for you. And another example, someone just added a new application to a technical Fiori catalog, even didn't touch roles directly, moved it to production after successful testing, and after that, users lost about 100 applications only because of incorrect maintenance of catalogs. If you are dealing with SOD, segregation of duty universe, please try to build your rule set at authorization object level, not just role versus role. And also, please try to avoid some common mistakes. For example, again, if you have some custom application or even custom authorization object, please consider whether or not it should be a part of your SOD checks, because there are a lot of cases when people just can do some conflicting operations in the system without any control with custom applications delivered. And also, when you are changing your roles, please remember that SOD analysis should be performed not only at role level. You should also do it for all role combinations which exist for your users in productions, because there can be cross-level segregation of duty conflicts. And again, please remember about mitigation controls. When we are saying segregation of duties, it doesn't mean we will not provide some access at all. Sometimes we need to do it, but we also need to implement some controlling procedures. And something else here, please, even if you followed all best recommendations, if you build some very strong access control processes, have you tested everything properly, it doesn't mean that you can stop at this point. You still need to think about access monitoring, about some continuous monitoring procedures. Please enable all necessary logs. Please implement some periodical reviews or recertification processes. After all, please be compliant and secure with your SAP. So thank you very much for your attention to this topic. Very soon we'll be ready to answer your questions, but at first we need to see some key takeaways. And so, Kate, please, back to you again.
Yeah, thank you, Daniil. Yeah, I want to conclude very short about our presentation. And first point that I want to highlight again and again, all teams are responsible for success of the clean core approach. And please don't avoid quality gate questionnaire. It will help you to evaluate where are you and now and from clean core perspective, and help you to improve your goal. And all GRC and security processes, very often you forget about it from the beginning. Please consider and align from the beginning on this topic. This is important and help you to exclude a lot of issues by the end during implementation and first of all support. Thank you for your attention, and we are ready to answer all your questions.
Colleagues, thank you very much for this interesting presentation. And right, let's get down to the Q&A part where we have lots of questions. Question 1, how can one measure the effectiveness of implementing clean core technologies?
Okay, I will answer here if nobody don't mind, colleagues. Regarding effectiveness, I think you hear and see some presentations during SAP Sapphire when clients share their success in implementation phase, and they measure that they have something like 5%, 10% of custom code and so on. So the easiest effectiveness to measure is RICE list, where you put and present and evaluate all your customization in the system. And of course, in your RICE list, you could just make this remark and check what is customization with supporting and following clean core, and what is fully not correct customization. It is some enhancement in core SAP system. It is using of some SAP old technologies for integration and so on. So it is not like one measure how to evaluate. Depends for whom this evaluation is, but yeah, RICE list is the main goal for you here. Thank you.
Okay, question number 2. Isn't there anything better than Adobe Form?
Anything better? No, I want to say no. This is the last that SAP suggests in BTP as a BTP service, but I think all developers know that Adobe Form is some pain for developers and for customers. So this is the best. You could suggest some other technologies to share data and so on. And the main question here, is it really needed to print something, to present something, and maybe SAP standard solutions with forms will be enough? Because very often, unfortunately, our customers till now ask just to present this Adobe form because it was done 20 years before, and we just want to have the same. So the question for consultant and for implementation team just to evaluate if it is it needed or not.
Okay,
thank you.
perfect. Thank you. And while we're waiting for the other questions just to show up, we would like everyone to encourage to join our community in Telegram, LinkedIn, We Are Community, Spotify, via the link in the chat. Thanks. Question number 3. I heard that SAP BTP is the only means of making and keeping the core clean. What do you think about it?
Okay, interesting question. No, it is not only one opportunity for you to follow clean core. You could follow clean core if, for example, let's imagine you don't have BTP, but you have S4HANA like 1909 system, and you want to follow clean core. You could just evaluate your solution and start of transforming your solution to clean core readiness. You could start transforming all modification, all development from old GUI to developing in Eclipse with CDS and so on. And this will be your first steps. But by the end, without BTP, you could use any other platform to just establish and publish services and so on. Just BTP is a SAP tool that they suggest to implement clean core in the easiest way. All other ways will be more complicated from development perspective, but yes, this is not the one.
Yeah, even I can add that even in the private cloud, we can support the system to be ready for cloud, to be clear. So there are two options: to start like with a greenfield implementation, when we just continue keeping it clear, the core clear, or just starting with a brownfield when we try to reach the cleanliness of our core. So here we have two options.
Thank you. And we've got another question. So if a developer realizes the requirements can't be met using the released API, what are the next steps, especially in SAP S4HANA public cloud environment, where we can't create legacy implementations as technical debt?
Yes, it is a good question. I can answer from my practice that we faced this problem very often, and I think every project will face it very often, because, as you know, the APIs provided by SAP are not ready by 100%. As I know, it's about 40% readiness of all the ERP scope. And of course you will face the issues when you cannot just replace, for example, iDocs with some API established interfaces, established by SAP, ready from the SAP view. And you should understand that clean core is just not a like in one moment problem resolving. It can take time. It can take months, 6 months, 12 months, for example, and you should find the solution here. You can, of course, temporarily use some tier 3 extensions. You can use maybe even non-SAP extensions or developments, and later replace it with some SAP ready tools. But yes, you should understand that for now it will be your technical debt, and you just should plan this change for future.
One more question about technical debt. So what approach can be used to manage it, tier 2 and tier 3 code? And should someone constantly check for flexibility, or are there any automatic analysis tools?
Yes, CP provides a set of monitoring tools. Those tools can be set it up from the basis layer, from the basis team. And no matter when you start your project from the greenfield, from the clean core, or even if you start from the brownfield, when we have some custom developments and we have no idea if those custom developments can be changed to clean in some way, or we should find some solution for it. We can find all these places. We should monitor it. We should monitor that we don't create new technical debt, meaning the core non-clear, and that we step by step, day by day, change by change, reduce the uncleanliness of our core. And again, we can plan it, we can see it, we can monitor it.
Yeah, and maybe I will add here that not everyone knows, but a good point to start changing your development and readiness of your system for clean core for future is packaging, create correct and manage packaging of objects and create development and manage package as a cloud readiness package. In that case, all your development in future will be easily reused if, for example, client or buy a ABAP in the cloud and BTP, it will be easily to reuse in future, and your code will be ready for clean core concept in future.
Yes, and a couple of words with such approach, when we even define our some custom solution with such approach, with having different types of packages, we can easily in future just replace, for example, one interface with other, one report with other. I mean, replace custom with provided by SAP.
Thanks. One more. Tell us a bit more about standard code customization, that is customer user exit, implicit enhancements, etc. Can we still use all of them in full force? And if yes, what about further system updates?
I could tell from my experience, you could use all implicit enhancement and user exits right now is under the question, because from my experience during SAP upgrade, if it is like last versions of S4HANA, you will have issues during upgrade, and this code will appear as not correct. It is related to user exit and to implicit enhancement, and sometimes even to append structure in tables. So you will have your client and you will have issues during upgrade. Bodies is fully supported right now, and if you are not in ABAP cloud, if it is cloud S4HANA Cloud Private Edition or on-premise system, you could use body with a full SAP support. But implicit and user exit, yes, you could use, but it is not clean core, and during upgrade, be ready to refresh this code after upgrade.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any other questions left? Okay, as far as I can see, no. Then, guys, thank you very much for this amazing presentation and the way you handled all the questions. I'd like to say once again that the recording will be posted on our YouTube channel, and you will get the link to the recording in a separate email. So, colleagues, thank you very much for being here, for great participation, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have
Bye-bye.
a
Goodbye.
great day. Bye bye.